Hey, what's up? This is Frank Mandolini of the Last Minute Wrestling Podcast. Thank you for checking this video and make sure to leave a thumbs up below. And in the description, you will find the link to follow me on all social media and on Spotify and Apple Podcast, which conveniently is the place where you should leave a 5-star review to help other people get into this wonderful podcast named Last Minute Wrestling Podcast. Thank you so much. Enjoy the video. Alex, thank you so much for coming on the Last Minute Wrestling Podcast. I've discovered your channel really recently, and I've been fucking hooked ever since. As I tweeted multiple times, I literally stopped doing my day job to check all of your videos multiple times because there aren't like hundreds of them at the moment, at least. So I had to go a couple times through your review of WWE 2K15 and 20 and those kind of stuff. So, man, you're on fire. The YouTube channel is going great.
I know. I don't know how that's happened either, because as I always say, I don't think I'm that funny. So
no, well, come on. Don't be modest here. Don't be like the crappy Jeff Hardy TNA team, modest to the top. You remember that one?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's go with that.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
No, I don't. I think, like, speaking of TNA, like, that's how my channel started to like go as like big. I don't want to say big, but it's like as much traction as getting right now. It's because of that TNA video. And it's made me realize never insult TNA again, because by God, some of the comments of that are just slewing me for not liking TNA. Well, no, I do like TNA. Let me just preference that. But obviously the game wasn't the best, but some people, they want to crucify me because I don't like a TNA game. And I'm like, fair play? Like, fair enough.
Did you enjoy the TNA product at the time? Were you watching?
I wasn't really watching, but obviously I kind of went back and watched a lot of TNA stuff. Like, obviously I think a lot through wrestling. I've kind of really aspired to wrestle similarly to like Motor City Machine Guns. Those are two, like Alex Shelley and Chris Sabian are two. I love those guys. Just the way they wrestle, and because they're a similar size to me, it kind of makes me think, oh, I can do that. So, like, you know, I as a wrestler, like, genuinely really like going back and watching old TNA. Plus, it's good to see, like, obviously AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, and how they've kind of went from TNA and obviously WWE, AEW. It's really cool to see.
Yeah. And about the TNA game, did you bought it as soon as it came out in, I think it was 2008, 2007 or something like that? Or...
I remember I didn't buy it as soon as it came out, but I remember I bought it for the PS2, where I think probably in like 2010. I remember playing it then for the PS2, and it didn't have like any creation suite or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then I remember when I was just starting doing YouTube, I was like, what do I want to review? What do I want to like do a video on? And the TNA game was someone that I thought, oh, that'd be quite cool. I didn't realize how well it would go at the time, but obviously I played it and I gave my opinion of it. And at the time, and when I first posted it, 44 people seen it to begin with. I was like, okay, that's done well for me. And now, like, a year later, it's on like 200,000 views. And I'm like, geez.
But I mean, you are, of course, I didn't introduce you properly before. You're not only you have this great YouTube channel that I strongly recommend every listener to check out, but you're also a wrestler. You're one half of the First City Saints. Tell me a little bit about it. Tell the listeners a little bit about your wrestling career so far.
Well, I've been wrestling since 2017, I want to say. So a good couple of years now. And as for the Fair City Saints, that kind of started to come about around about 2019 when I started wrestling in Reckless Intent. And I'm tagging with probably one of my best friends in wrestling, my wrestling dad, as I always call him, Stephen Air Miles on Twitter. Cheap little plug for you there, Stephen.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think for me and him, Stephen is really deceiving in the ring. And by that, I mean, he's I'm trying to put this as nice as I possibly can. He's a lot bigger than I am, but he is so agile, and it's mind-boggling how agile he is. Like 450 tope con hilo, he can do it all in the ring, and I'm just sitting there like, can do some nice kicks. But no, it's like so me and Stephen have been teaming for quite a while, for about a year. Rex Intent, we recently started to get a start in like Source, Discovery as well, where we kind of teamed in the Battle Royal there. So
which are all Scottish independent promotions, right?
Yeah, it's all Scottish independent promotions. I've been just around Scotland at the moment.
And is there any particular matches so far that you really enjoyed and that we can go check out on the interwebs?
I think, yeah, there's a few that kind of pop out. There's one that I wrestled, Dickie Divers. He is one half of the ICW Tag Team Champions at the moment. Yep. With Jack Morris. I wrestled him for the Reckless Intent title back in 2019. I think it was, I can't remember what the event where it was, but I remember really enjoying that match because Dickie just is brilliant in the ring. So it was really cool to get in the ring with him and kind of mix our styles together. No, I really enjoyed that match. I think, and is one when you type my name into YouTube, that pops up as well, and I go in the comments and it's people being like, "Oh, is this the same Alex Webb from the YouTube channel?" And I'm like, yeah. Sure. There's another one that I really enjoyed. It's probably my favorite tag team match to date. It was me and Steven wrestling KOE, who again have just started wrestling on ICW. And I remember it was me and Steven's like debut for Source, which again is another Scottish-based wrestling promotion. Yes. I remember we were like, it'll be you and these guys, and I'd never met them before. And I think they got to the venue I want to say like 50 minutes before our match. So we were like, so obviously we were getting it together, and then we went out and had a really, really good match. I would like to think. I think during the match, I'm always like my harshest critic. Like I'm like, oh, that could have been better. And then I came back afterwards, and everyone was like, really like, oh, that was so good. And I was like, oh, cool. I watch it back, and I think out of every match that I've kind of had with Steven as a tag team, I think that's probably one that sticks out in my head as being really, 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 really fun and really, really good as well. I think I have another match that a lot of people will bring up as well is I wrestled my last match before this big impending lockdown happened was with More Than Hype. We wrestled in Govan. And again, it was a really good experience to get in the ring with two lads who have endless experience with obviously wrestling in OTT and going across the UK, doing really, really well for themselves. So it's really valuable getting in the ring with Darren and Nathan just to mix up with them and see what I can improve upon as well. Yeah. But yeah, those are some matches. The Alex Webb one, the Alex Webb versus Dickie Divers one. If you type in Alex Webb wrestling, that's the first thing that comes up. Not that I search myself at all.
No vanity search. No
vanity search. No vanity search. Not at all. And the match with KOE, it's on the Source YouTube channel. I'm sure if you search up KOE versus the Fair City Saints, that you can find that as well. So yeah, those are probably some of my favorite matches thus far.
And looking a little bit ahead in the future, first of all, let's hope that wrestling can come back as soon as possible and as safe as possible. Second part, who would you want to wrestle when wrestling comes back in the UK scene?
Oh, no, I haven't thought about that for quite a while. I think I would love to have another opportunity to wrestle More Than Hype again, just because I think from wrestling them, I kind of learned a lot from that. And I feel like over lockdown, I've kind of had a lot of time to kind of think about how I could hone in on my style and how I could, what's the word I'm looking for here? How I could improve upon myself and make sure that I can give the best performance I possibly can give in that ring. And I think in terms of people that I haven't wrestled before, I would love to wrestle guys like Aspen Faith, DCT, Stevie Boy, just Ian Skinner, who you've had on the podcast before.
Yeah, great guy.
Lovely guy. Yeah. The reason I want to wrestle him though is he constantly sends me memes, so I want to wrestle him and to get the crown of meme god, because that's his me.
Yeah, he was the first one to do. The first and probably only one. I have no idea. Well, you can get into a contention at the moment, but he was the first one to meme one of my episodes. So I was so happy about it. Yeah, it was a great chat. Great chat I had early on in this podcast. Well, of course, I'll be waiting for you versus Ian Skinner. Which, for the record, I say that not for you, not for the listeners, but specifically for Billy from Scottish Wrestling Network. I discovered Ian Skinner, not him. That's what I always brag about. But apart from that, you already mentioned like a scene in the TNA game and the TNA product of the time, the Motor City Machine Guns, or like someone that you could have looked up to. Is there like something that during the lockdown you had the chance to study of them, some maneuvers, something, or even other tag teams?
I think I went back and watched Generation Me versus Motor City Machine Guns in a tag team match. I don't know what happened to Generation Me. I wonder where they are these days.
Yeah, I think they're unemployed. I think I haven't seen them in a while.
They're such young bucks. I wonder where they. Okay, I've made that way too obvious now. No, but like I went back and watched their match, some of their matches, and I really enjoyed that. And I think actually, I started watching a lot of like obviously networks there, so I started going back and watching some like matches that I always think have been my favorite matches. And I would be like, are they still my favorite matches? So it's stuff like Punk versus Cena at Money in the Bank, which still holds up to this day. If you don't know, CM Punk, probably my favorite wrestler of all time. So, that I've watched quite a few of his matches, like him versus Taker at Mania as well. Another one that I really enjoy. There's one.
Sorry to interrupt. Can I be really nitpicking about Punk versus Cena? Because I am a Punk mark as well, but there is something that's really bothering me about that match. And it has been bothering me for years now. It's the fact that CM Punk still had his old theme song when it came out that night.
Yeah,
it was before Cult of Personality, and I'm so fucking pissed about this stupid thing that haunts me to this day. That's it. That was
fair enough.
That was me nitpicking, really nitpicking.
I thought you were going to mention that. There's a few botches in the match, but no, the theme song.
No, the fucking theme song. Okay, I hate the old theme song.
Like this fire burns.
Yeah, I mean it's a nice song, but nothing compared to what came later.
I'm conflicted. I quite like it. I think that scene as well of him in Chicago and like the fucking crowd, man. I hope I'm allowed to swear, by the way.
Yeah, I've been swearing since the first minute we were discussing. So no problem. Go ahead.
Lovely, but no, the fucking crowd, man. Just all of them chanting CM Punk, and then you see Cena come out and like he gets booed out of the building. Like you've never really seen Cena as like that kind of like heel persona, especially past 2005. Like it's just kind of like he's always been this kind of like more like moral good guy, good face. And then to kind of see him, it's either that or ECW One Night Stand where he lost the title to RVD. Like seeing him like kind of adapt and be like, because he knows what he's doing. He was, and like obviously going out, head down, title up. It's really cool to see like Cena take on a different like kind of not persona, but different kind of way that he enters the ring and holds himself in like a hostile environment.
Yeah, he had a different vibe there. Totally
much different
vibe. Yeah.
As for other matches that I went back and watched, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head besides some of them. I think I've watched a lot of like AEW's product because I'm quite a big fan of AEW. So I went back and watched Cody versus Dustin.
Amazing. Amazing match.
the bloodiest match I've seen in a very long time. The first lights out match with Moxley and Kenny, which was more explosive than the exploding ring match.
Yeah, totally. And less lights out than the match that we just saw between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, if you ask me. But anyway, I don't want to nerd out so much about wrestling matches, because we could go on for hours and people will be bored. And I want to talk about your channel. First of all, there is an incredible quality in what you do. And a great deal of research, I can tell, that goes into finding all the footage, all the memes, all the stuff that will probably take you days just for that part. And you said that you're not funny at all, but man, you are. You know your comedy. You know the timing, the how to structure the sentences. That's amazing to hear. I really enjoy the product that you put out. Even the thing that I don't know a fuck about, for example, like Ben 10 or this kind of stuff. So basically, what I'm trying to ask is, how long does it fucking take to make just one video?
Right. So like the way I make videos, like from when I started to where I am now, has drastically changed. You mentioned the Ben 10 one, and I think that one, like, okay, I'll be very honest, from like the past 5 videos that I've done, I've been really proud of. The other ones, I look it back and I'm like, oh, that's not good. And then I get nice comments and like, oh, maybe they are good. But
yeah, I mean, that's a learning curve, like in everything else.
I think like those that like the first types of videos took me about like 3 weeks or so to do, just from in terms of, obviously I had to play the full game. I had to kind of gather my opinions, took notes, kind of figure out what I was wanting to say. So scripting took a couple of days, and then going from there, it was kind of just like cutting everything together, which wasn't that bad at the time because I didn't put in as many memes as I do now. Now with the title, so like to say like the Battlegrounds versus All Stars video, the Spider-Man PS4 video, the ones that the Legends of WrestleMania video. Again, I have to play the entire game. I script the entire video, and then it takes me about 2 weeks to edit because I have to find everything I'm talking about. And it's not just a case of like I spend one entire day finding clips, because I can't work like that. I have to like edit as I go along. So I'm like, right, I need a clip there. I'll go on, get the clip, come back, and then it'll just be that. I know that's probably not the best way to work with it, but it works for me. And I think at the moment, I'm kind of like really happy with the quality of my work. And thank you so much for the compliment. But hopefully, it'll just keep on getting better as I go along with YouTube.
So it is about like 2 to 3 weeks, if I understood correctly, right?
Probably about 3 to 4 weeks at the moment.
3 to 4. Okay, yeah, because we also have to play it. But the script. I mean the dialogue that you read, is that you write it as you play as well, like everything else, or not?
Well, the next video that I'm going to do is on SPR 06. I'm not plugging this or anything, but I'm just like, so like I would just take like notes as I'm playing. I don't want to hit the mic there, but I just take notes as I'm playing, and then I'll kind of look at that and I'll be like, right, this is how I can script this out, and then I'll just spend ages just writing out the script. And because I don't want to just put out shit content, so I will go back and revise over every single thing that I've written down, just to make sure that it can be as well formulated and as cohesive as I possibly can be. I don't know if you can tell just now, but when I don't have a script in front of me, I stutter so much. So I have to have like a script. It's maybe not as bad just now, but like in the last podcast I did, by God, like I feel so sorry for Billy, because I was sitting there going, the CM Punk, I like him. that was how that podcast went.
No, don't worry. Billy deserved all of that. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I'm joking. Billy has been the second guest of my show, so I really, really much love him. So I can't say a bad word about that guy. And speaking of, you mentioned SVR 2006, which is one of my favorite wrestling games.
Oh, it's very good.
But man, we have similar tastes when it comes to wrestling games. And I want to talk for hours now about SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, the greatest, undoubtedly the greatest video game, wrestling video game ever created.
I may have to disagree with you on that point, my friend. Because I know, right, SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, undoubtedly a fantastic game.
Yeah.
And like the gameplay is some of the finest in any wrestling game. But I think, I don't know why, but I always gravitate to Shut Your Mouth because I fucking love that game so much. The season mode, man, just walking about, speaking to Devon about 160 times before the end of it. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, but also Here Comes the Pain as the same thing. You can talk with people on the backstage areas.
But with Here Comes the Pain, it wasn't like you couldn't go roaming around places. You could pick a place where you want to go, and there's someone there you can speak to. But with like Shut Your Mouth, you could just go wherever you want to go. You go to the boiler room if you wanted to, speak to Lita, who was apparently there for whatever reason. You could go to speak to Ric Flair, the kooky old man, who was apparently the general manager at the time. I can't remember that.
So I think it was the owner of Raw or something. That was
it. That was where the Vince McMahon meme of him just going like that comes from, isn't it? Yeah. But no, you can go speak to him, demand a title shot. You could do anything. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going off on such a tangent. But yeah, no, those would probably be some of my like favorite games. I think modern wrestling games get a really bad rap because of 2K, and deservedly so. But like I think like games like All Stars, I fucking love All Stars.
Yeah,
just like. It's so different and so unique, and like to see it butchered in Battlegrounds was heartbreaking to me. But also to see like All Stars is just, I fucking love it just for the way it plays. And like there's apparently SBR 2011 is really good as well. I don't think I played it. I need to get there because I'm reviewing all the games in order. So it'll take me about 6 months to just play it. So
yeah, SPR 2006 is the one with the weird Santino Marella possession that it becomes a zombie.
That's SBR 09 actually.
Oh, okay. Well, no. So
SBR 06 is, I've just played the season mode, so I should know. Yeah. SBR 06. Oh no, I remember now. SBR 06 for some if you play it, there's many different routes you can take with that, because you can play as a SmackDown superstar and you'll get like a SmackDown storyline. You can play as a Raw superstar, you'll get like a Raw storyline. And each like a storyline kind of changes. It's like Heavy Rain, but good. But so like if you play the SmackDown one, the first scene is Teddy Long getting hit by a car, which is fantastic stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the Raw storyline is, again, some of the mocap for that game is a bit odd though. It either looks really janky or far too sexual for my liking. But the Raw one is you first off having to fight Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship, who if you beat, then Eric Bischoff comes out and is like, no, you won this title in a steel cage in September, so I'm gonna have to vacate it. And I'm like, why?
What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. The game. I've always said the games are a fever dream, but they're so fun.
Yeah, I remember it having a great creation mode. By the way,
I think like as like from about like here comes Shut Your Mouth, even from Shut Your Mouth all the way through up until even the current games, like that's the one thing I'll say for the current games, like the creation modes just continually got better and better. Yeah, and it's for me, like I used to always want to create my own characters in the game. They don't look a thing like me, but I always used to create the characters. For some reason, I would give them like red jean shorts, long black gloves. I wasn't that creative as a kid, apparently, but yeah, no, I would always create my own character and have a blast playing the season mode. And it was always really cool to me see my guy like come out to the entrance music that I picked for him, or just my choices impact it, even in the smallest tiny way, but it still impacted it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where my love of the SBR games came from.
Yeah. I like how you ducked my opinion on Here Comes the Pain, but yeah,
I like Here Comes the Pain. Here Comes the Pain is a good game. I just like Shut Your Mouth more.
I mean, but not taking into consideration the obvious greatness of Here Comes the Pain, but why do you think they decided, oh, this game has an incredible season mode, storyline mode, where you can pick the championship that you want to fight for. You can build your character until it becomes a main eventer. That's really simple yet so effective. You can choose what to do, yes or no, get slapped in the face by Stephanie McMahon, and all of that stuff. So why do you think the creators of those games suddenly decided to say, you know what, that's the funniest thing in the game, let's fucking drop it. Let's fucking forget it forever, for fucking ever. There's
okay. To be fair, we do have. I don't work with THQ or
no.
or
I mean, I wanted your opinion.
But I don't know, man. I think because SPR 08 was the last time we got kind of like a season mode, or like it. Or okay, it wasn't really a season mode. It was like a 24/7 mode, but it was something similar to that. But I don't know. Then Road to WrestleMania came in, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I don't want to play as Molly Holly." No, wait, it was, but like it was. I think it was like 09 it came in, and then that was when Undertaker possessed Santino Marella. That was the first game where you had like a Road to WrestleMania, and like. It's difficult because they're all right for what they are, but they pale in comparison to what we used to have. Yep. So I don't I've always thought like it would be really cool to either get there's two games that I've had envisioned for wrestling. The first one would be like a heavy, like I've mentioned Heavy Rain, but like a Heavy Rain style like choice-based narrative wrestling game where like if you play it and like if you win a match, obviously you get up in the rankings, but say if someone comes up and asks you to like be your manager, you can come out, and if you cost them to win, if you cost them to lose the match, or if you make them win the match, that affects like the storyline going forward. Just like little intricate things, or like even like just a Telltale based game where it's like just even a point and click adventure where you go around and like you're a wrestler and you have to like deal with bookers and promotions and like working yourself up to get to like the main event stage, like WWE or WEW, who can be legally distinct and not get copyright claimed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just stuff like that would be really cool. But no one fucking does it because it's too niche. No one I feel like with Telltale based games, like they're so mainstream and wanting to do like obviously Walking Dead. They did Guardians of the Galaxy. Wolf Among Us, which is probably the nichest thing they've done, but like they wanted like appeal to a much more wider audience because I think wrestling is quite. I don't want to say like small following because it's not, but like I think for like hardcore fans or who like kind of know the ins and outs of the business, like would really like to see those types of games where you could like play as a wrestler, you could deal with bookings, you could deal with like people telling you the storylines or like how you deal with going to different promotions, making friends, making enemies, just stuff like that. It could be kayfabe, it could shatter kayfabe, and Jim Cornette could have a heart attack. You never know.
Yeah. I agree with you. It takes just to be a little bit more imaginative, probably. That and those companies aren't like that. I mean, probably that's. That's probably because it's too niche or too they want to risk it. I can understand it.
I think it's definitely like in terms of like profit, it would definitely be a risk for any company who's like more mainstream appeal to do like such a niche thing with wrestling.
Yeah, I get that. One last question about the wrestling games, then I promise we will move on. What's your opinion on GM mode?
Oh, I'm in two minds about GM mode because at the same time I do really like GM mode, but I have to be in the mood to play it. Because like GM mode in like the SPR 06 through to SPR, was it in the 08?
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah. So like I can understand the appeal of them, and I can see like, yeah, I can see like, yeah, it'd be really fun to obviously, because you can pick your own rivalries, you can make your own storylines, you can slander promotions, and you get to compete against Raw. Like that's really fun. But sometimes if you play it for such a long amount of time, it can get a little bit boring, perhaps, or you might burn yourself out of it. But in saying that, it's still like, I played it for the recent video, and it's still a fantastic mode.
So yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just think it can, if you play it for too long, get a little bit stale.
Okay. Yeah.
And saying that though, there's like, sorry to interrupt you, but there's
no, don't worry. Go ahead.
Like there's I'll need to give him a shout out because I got a key for hang on, let me quickly check and get the name of the game. Journey of Wrestling is like a new kind of like browser based I'm not doing a promo. They haven't paid me to do this. But the makers of a game called Journey of Wrestling contacted me after seeing my first like SBR video. I was like, hey, I really like this. We've made a game that's similar to GM mode, where you get to book the shows, book pay-per-views. You get like match of the year. You get like the Wrestling Observer Awards with Dave Smeltzer, who is legally distinct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they got in contact with me, and they gave me a key for the game. I downloaded it, and I genuinely played it for like 3 weeks straight, just not getting any work done, just sitting there playing it and booking the shows. No, it was like, so like that's kind of been like, oh, GM mode's really fun. So obviously going back and playing it, yeah, I can get that. Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah. And about the next wrestling games that are going to be released, is there anything else that you are waiting for to check?
Like in terms of what's coming out next?
Yeah.
The AEW game really appeals to me. Just again, it's something like, we've had WWE games for how long now? Just purely based WWE games.
Yeah, 20 years probably.
Yeah, because the only thing that we've had difference is like the TNA game, which again had its problems. I'll say.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'm just really interested to see, because Kenny Omega is such a video game nerd, and he's admitted that himself. So I think he'll definitely take a lot more care with how, like, and he said he's taking a lot more of like a hands-on approach with how stuff is gonna like come together. So I'm really looking forward to that. I really want to start playing Fire Pro as well, because I haven't actually played that game.
Yeah, me neither.
And apparently it's fantastic, so I really need to play that as well. Has a GM mode as well? I'll look into that.
Have you heard about an upcoming game called Virtual Basement?
Yeah,
not Virtual Basement. The wrestling code made by the people from Virtual Basement.
Yeah, I get told, I get comments about that all the time. Just like people being like, "Oh, is it like a deathmatch style game, or am I wrong in thinking that, or is it like?"
No, I don't think so.
No, never mind.
I think this hasn't been disclosed so far. I think so far they just released like a couple of trailers with the roster members, and that's it.
I'm talking out my arse then, because no, I've heard about Virtual Basement, and I've heard they've been like working on a game, but I've also heard comments about a deathmatch game that's coming out. So yeah, both of those games could be something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. And have you tried the AEW mobile games?
No, I haven't really. I don't really look into a lot of like mobile based games, which maybe I should. But Supercars was the one thing that I played, and I fucking hated it. So. You recently put out a poll asking what we should ask you to do next as one of your next reviews, and among the title that you suggested, there was also the Arkham series of Batman, which I think did not receive such a great number of votes. I knew I voted for it, but I think because like, okay, because my channel's like gotten a lot of traction, I started to get really worried, because I don't want to just do wrestling games all the time. I love wrestling games. I absolutely adore them, but there isn't like an infinite amount of wrestling games, so I will run out of them eventually. So like, and if I'm, because like at the moment I'm starting to progress into potentially having YouTube as a full-time job, which is so fucking cool to me. That is mind blowing to me to think of that. But I kind of got worried about that because I was like, well, if people only subscribe to see me do wrestling games, then I'm going to run out of them eventually. And I have other interests. I know you mentioned the Arkham games, because the reason I put that in, I'm not the biggest Batman fan. But the reason I put them in is because I get suggested that all the time, and I'm like, and I played Arkham Origins, and I haven't actually played the game of the year. Or is it Arkham Asylum? That's
Arkham City, I think.
Arkham City.
I think it's the one that got the best reviews out of the three. Arkham Asylum is the first one, the one that kickstarted it all. Arkham City is really good. Arkham Origins is, it gets a bad rep, but in my opinion, it's still quite enjoyable.
I think from my perspective, because I only played Arkham Origins just because I didn't really have that much of an interest in Batman. I am much more Spider-Man person, as my name gives away. But so for Arkham series, I've been a lot of people have recommended me look at them, so I added them to the list. But my real passion is probably a lot for like the Spider-Man games, Web of Shadows, all the like the Amazing Spider-Man games. For as bad as they are, I want to do videos on all of them.
Did you check the old Spider-Man games, the one that were for for the Super Nintendo? No, I think even before that, there were a few in the late 80s / early 90s. Came out like a group of games. One was about Spider-Man, one about Batman, one I think Superman. They were all the same game. That's so so fucking great. They were all the same game, just a different color scheme. You should check.
It's just so when you're like copying someone's homework, it's just like yeah, come on, just change it up a little bit so they don't pick up on it.
I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I think that they all have been produced by the same place, by the same producer.
Well, no wonder why they're all the same.
That's so fucking amazing. Well, anyway, favorite Batman movie? Spider-Man movie.
That's like picking between a favorite child. You can't do that to me.
I mean, we all have a favorite child. Come on. I mean, we technically don't have child. I mean, at least I don't. I don't know about you, but still.
my girlfriend will be like, ears picking up like children. I say that. No, I don't. I think right.
I know it's Spider-Man 3, right?
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3 gets a bad rep, and there's a few things wrong with it. But I have this hairstyle for a reason, and it's because of Tobey goddamn Maguire.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3, I absolutely adore. Maybe not for the right reasons, but if we're going for like an actual like favorite Spider-Man film that I can always revisit, either Spider-Man 2 or Into the Spider-Verse, like those are two of my absolute favorite Spider-Man films.
Oh yeah, well, Into the Spider-Verse is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And I recently watched back the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man, which has always been one of my go-to Spider-Man movies. I think it's great. I think it's a great movie.
Yeah.
But for the first time in forever, probably, I had during the opening sequence, I really thought, man, that shows that it has been made in like 2001, because the graphic, I really thought I can do this graphic. I think I can do it, which is really saying something, because my skills are so low.
I recently sat with my girlfriend who, I need to preference this, supports me in everything that I do, who is a great help to me in terms of wrestling and YouTube. The reason I'm saying this is because I didn't say this in the last podcast and she got mad at me, so I'm saying it in this one.
You got scolded.
I did, yes. But no, I love Hannah. She helps me out with everything that I do. But I showed her the first 3 Spider-Man films. She's never seen them before, and sitting with her, someone who's like never seen them before and hasn't got the nostalgia for them that I do, Yeah, it made me realize they're not exactly the most perfect of films I think they are.
Yeah, probably.
Especially because, like, if you've seen like the first film, the students, like, obviously they're supposed to be like 15 to 18-year-old high school students. They look mid-30s with a mortgage. Like,
man, I grew up watching Dawson Creek. They were supposed to be 15 years old, and all of the actors were like in their 30s. So yeah, I know what it feels like.
Yeah, but no, like I watched them back, and I was like showing Hannah all these films, and she was like she liked a lot of them, and then she picked up like when stuff wasn't as good, and I got defensive because I was like, no, these are my favorite films, and I actually liked them. I was like, yeah, no, fair enough. But nah, still, like even saying that, I will always go back and rewatch the Sam Raimi trilogy because they're just such. To me, I don't care if they've got if they're dated or they look like they're made in the early 2000s. I just adore all of them and adore watching them.
Yeah, it is still quite baffling to see Macy Gray perform in New York City, but because that is really time specific, I would say. But yeah, and anyway, I loved Macy Gray back in the day. So like, before I let you go, Alex, plug all that you have to plug. Oh no, wait. First, one last quick question. I don't know if you are like into sports game or this kind of stuff, or football games, or I know I'm not. But there is an exception. The one that I think that is the greatest game ever created. It's about
football. Wait. Greatest sports game or greatest game full stop?
Let's say sports game, but it can be greatest game as well.
Right.
Which is a football game called Striker 96. Legitimately, I am the only one in the face of the earth who knows about that game, and I can assure you I am the best ever at that game. But if you want to take 5 minutes of your time, go check it out, Striker 96. You could do amazing thing on that game.
Am I checking out right now or after the podcast?
After the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, go check it out. Go check it. If you ever want to do some retro review, I highly recommend Striker 96. But okay, now that I said this bullshit, plug all that you have to plug, all of your channels.
Wasn't even the question. It was just, I think this game's good.
No, the question. I think the question was something like, would you ever want to do some retro reviews of any game, not just Striker 96?
Yeah, 100%. I think in terms of retro games, it's just finding the time to fit them in with stuff that, because I don't know, like I would like to think that I do quite a few retro games, but I either look at modern stuff or stuff from like the early 2000s. Yeah. I'm wanting to go back and look at stuff from the late 90s and just play a lot of different types of games. It's not just retro games. I'm wanting to look at the Resident Evil games as well, because those are the games I absolutely adore. Yeah. The Spider-Man games, as we previously discussed, the Saints Row series is another one I really want to look at. Yeah, just all that type of stuff. Sure. Now I'll start plugging away.
Yeah.
On Twitter, you can find me at Alex Webb _101. Same for Instagram, and on YouTube, just type in Alex Webb. I'm the first thing that pops up.
Perfect, Alex.
And that's the biggest flex I can possibly do. Type my name into YouTube. I'm the first thing there.
Yeah, that's a great flex, actually. Alex, congrats again. You're doing a great job, and I hope that your channel will grow even faster than it is actually already going. Okay.
Thank you, man. Same to you. Thank you, man. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. You're very welcome. See you sometime down the line, okay?
Yeah, okay. Cheers, man.
Okay, bye.
Bye, man.